Hello, if there's anyone there. So, this is pretty cool. I was excited about something I came across here. And, oh, look, it's giving me an update about my own live stream. Cool. But yeah, I was excited about something I came across in what I was doing, and I decided to chronicle it. The easiest way for me to do that is just to make a quick live stream and to share it with everybody. So, this is something I could have shared during my other live stream, but I didn't think about it at the time. I've got some of this work started here. So I'll go ahead and close my clipboard, make it big. Now this is Genesis chapter 1. And this is some of the changes I've already made so far. So these are the definite articles, and that's most of what I've done so far. So that's the Greek versions of the, which they also use for different reasons. So the connotations can be different, but sometimes the connotation's the exact same as in English the. So here it says en arche poiesen he the. I don't remember what Greek word used to be there, but what I do is I just use this replace thing right here, and then I copy and paste whatever word I need. So n is in, so that's simple enough. Arche means prime, including the primordial, so including the beginning. So in prime, or in this context, it would be in the beginning. But I need something that works in every context, like the voice of an archangel. That's the same word here. So a prime angel, right? So so for this, it's not a translation. For those of you who for anyone who hasn't seen what else I've said about this before, it's not going to result in a translation. It's going to result in an Englishified Greek. But it's actually going to make some pretty decent English most of the time, it looks like, because this is going to be in prime. This must be created because it's he, the theos, of course, God. Now, he means that it's the nominative. And you can think of it this way. That's the one who's nominated to do the action. Then, because he would do something to him. So the next word is him. That's the accusative. And for some reason, receiving the action is being in the accusative. Maybe it means it accuses the nominative of doing the thing. I don't know. But anyway, so he, the theos. So in prime created, he, the God, him, the, I'm aware that Uranon is sky. He, the God. Okay, in prime created, he, the God, him, the sky. Also, her, the land, or the earth. But it would be earth, not like a proper noun per se, but like earth as in ground, So some of the choices that I'm making are going to be to pull back from specific contexts and to strip the text of preconceptions for the sake of a fresh look. Not to say that the preconceptions must be incorrect, but yeah, if it says Earth there, people might be thinking of a proper noun about the whole planet, And if it says land, that's an extremely correct translation, and it's not going to confuse anyone. So, yeah, in prime created he, the God, him, the sky, and her, the land. So it's important that you have the he versus the him, so you know which one did the creating and which one received the creating. And that gives you a lot of insight into how Greek works and into what this project is going to be. So this is cool because I can make worksheets that are partially Greek and partially English, and that can be part of what comes in the books is like, the stuff you go through with blanks of stuff you've learned before to like, and to keep incorporating English to Greek and this and that for the reader in a very accessible, enjoyable way rather than trying to cram facts. It's like you get to keep checking the things out and exploring them in context that's already established and stuff, Because when I went to go check out stuff on the internet, I had no context. So even when I was trying to do this stuff a year ago, I wasn't getting it right. But after some time handling it, I have a lot of context now that I can work with. So then it says, she, the moreover, gay, and I don't know what word that is, if it's, this is gain, was land. So I don't know if gay is also a form of land or not. I don't remember what ain is, but I've probably come across it. Aeratos. So, whatever that is, also akataskuestas. Akataskuestas. Something like that. That's a pretty decent one to try at, right? So this is fun stuff to do, and I encourage everyone to come up with something productive and set up in a fun way. I think I got a good screen share going here. Yeah, cool. So and then it says also skatos, so I know that's darkness. Epeno, whatever that is, of her the abyssu. So that's the abyss, or the bottomless bottom. Probably just translate it. The deep. The deep is how it's translated. So that's the part about the deep in Genesis verse 2. Also, pneuma or pneuma. I don't know if the P here, pi is P, if that's silent. But that's spirit. Theo. So that's God. But the difference between Theo and Theos would be like little particles like the, or whether it's accusative, like this one would have been accusative, right? Because the he was accusative. So this one could possibly be nominative, for instance, but I don't know what it is. So that's, but it's God, but it's God fitting into the language differently. Epiphereto, epiphereta. O is this omega here. Pneuma, theo, epiphereta. So this P looking thing is an R. And then as far as how it sounds. And then there might be exceptions to these, and I would absolutely not know any of the exceptions, right? You know how languages work. But anyway, I'm just working to like learn the scripture here to get access to the Greek Bible. So and this would be the Septuagint here, which is the Greek translation from a bit before the time of Christ, shortly before the time of Christ, some decades or a couple centuries at most, I think. From the Hebrew to the Greek for the Old Testament. So then when I go to replace a word in the New Testament, since I have this hooked up to it, it's going to do the Septuagint at the same time. So I was like, I should make the most of my time and do them both. Now, okay, so she, the de is moreover. So she, the moreover, gay, ain, So what we'll do is we'll go check out what all those are. Also, darkness, apeno, so we'll check out what those words are. Darkness, apeno must be upon, I guess. Or apano, sorry, apano would have the H-looking thing, is an A sound, and then the A is an A sound, as an alpha. But H, the H-looking one makes the A sound. So, that makes enough sense, I guess. No, I remember alpha and H, though. Little mnemonic devices, I guess. But so also darkness, this must be upon, was upon, probably past tense here, of her the deep, or the bottomless deep, the bottomless bottom. I'll have to decide exactly how I'll translate it. Also, pneuma, theos, also spirit of God, epithereta, apeno, so something upon, spirit of God. So this must be moved in a sense, right? Because we know that's the translation. So moved upon again of him, so this must be the word translated waters. Datos. Now that doesn't mean it's waters in Greek, but it's what we have as waters in our English. And then I would have to see how they translated it from the Hebrew to the Greek, so forth, so on, etc. And then also IPEN, so you get, this is an E sound, the I, and the E is an S sound, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember this correctly, EI is an I sound. So IPEN, he the God, genetheto, so that sounds like generate of some form. Phos, which is light. So also Apen, he the God generated light. Also Egeneta generated Phos. I don't know. So this is not quite the same as generated, because he's saying he did this to the light and he did the generating to the light. So as I get through this, I'll get to find out what this word is, and that'll be fun to explore. Also, Iden, I'm pretty sure I already have that one translated, and here you can't see this is the problem. And then, but even though you cannot see it, I'm just going to check my source here. No, it looks like I don't have Iden yet. Let me see. Back to the screen here. Boop, 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 bop. Yeah, Iden. So I got that right. Okay, so I don't have that word yet in my, what's that called? A catalog. It's the catalog of all the words that I'm forming, the catalog. So also, Iden, he, the God, the Phos. Ati, I know I have Ati, so I'm going to go ahead and look at that real quick here. Okay, Ati is thusly that. Yeah, that's an important word. So, why is that space so big? Did I just do something weird? No. Okay. Well, there's a number of ways something like that could happen. It's no big deal. So then also Iden, he, the God, the light, thusly, that Kalon, right? That's my L, isn't it? Yeah. Thusly, that Kalon also, yeah, Daikorisen, he, the God, the light, thusly, that kalon, also dihorisen, he, the god Ana. Now, yeah, meson of him, the photos, light, and Ana, meson of him, the scatus, which is the darkness. So, so somewhere in here I must have been talking about God said, let there be light, also generated light. So also light came to be. So, and she, the moreover, gay is definitely going to be land, like gain, because then this stuff's going to be formless and void here. And so if we check out this ain, now this addresses something that Fifth Trumpet and I were discussing. So that this just shows how it ties into all these everyday discussions we have. And there's a few different ains, but depending on how it's typed, I hopefully will have the right meaning of the word, unless it has multiple meanings, even typed the same. So, such was being. Okay. So, she, the moreover land, such was being. So, okay, well, such was being is not like egeneto, where the light came to be. So it doesn't seem that it's saying in the Greek translation, when they did that 2,000 years ago, they did not think that the translation of was formless and void should be like became formless and void at that time. But apparently they thought it should be such was being formless and void. So, and that just shows that when they translated it into the Greek, they seem to have had the same idea of what it meant. That formless and void literally meant like it had no form. So the earth was not a physical earth yet. And void, non existent, right? And, that's something I could dig into. I mean, the exact definitions of these Greek words might not be void and non existent. So that's something for what I'm doing for this, I don't really want to dig into that because this is more about what the Greek Access Bible Project is. So you see how word for word this will be in prime, some form of the word created. So it would be interesting to know the exact form of the verb, but in prime, created, he, it'd be interesting to know exactly what form of God, because we might get a redundant, like he, the God, I don't know if that would work because I don't know if definite articles can be attached to a proper noun in that way or whatever. But or a noun, I don't know if it's really a proper noun per se, in the sense of like Joseph is a proper noun. I mean, we know it is, but there's also such thing as a lowercase g use of the word God, and same thing with this word, right? So then can you the-ify a word like this word? I don't know. Anyway, so this is all the stuff I'm learning, right? Because someday through this process, I will know whether or not, just from looking at it in the Greek. Well, that's probably a broader question anyway. So I'll really know the answer to that question, right? About what's attached to nouns and stuff. But right now I'm going through things with a fine-tooth comb every step of the way, so I haven't made it to that step yet. But in prime created he, the God, him, the sky, also her, the land. She, the moreover land, Such was being, presumably formless and void. Also, darkness upon of her the abyss. Also, spirit. Oh, this is going to be of God, probably, right? It's going to be, that's called a genitive when you have of. And that's how possessives are done also. So the spirit, so if it's God's spirit, it has to be spirit of God because that's how they say possessive instead of an apostrophe S, right? So this is also spirit of the God. Um, this must be something about some form of motion upon of him, and this must be something to do with waters. And so it's pretty cool, huh? Because this is what I got just from my definite articles, from what I know from soaking in Greek over the past few years. And that's the thing, like trying to learn this stuff without context and force it in with no context didn't work for me. So now that I have a lot of context, it's like now I can start to work with this stuff, because it's like if you don't have any context, then compensating for a lack of context is going to take up all your like subconscious brain power or a whole lot of it. But once you have the context, then being in the context is where all that subconscious brain power is, and you can like handle stuff. So that was a pretty good example of how I was handling the text here. Just from looking at it. So then I'll show the same section after I add in a bunch of like the main words. So in will be in here. I don't think I started, I'm going to put God in the first run. I did get Jesus' name in there. We're going to have Kai is also. De is moreover. That'll definitely be in there. There's a couple more pronouns sprinkled through here. So, and some of this stuff, darkness, light, well, those are in 1 John chapter 1 and 2. That's what I already did 1 John chapter 1 and 2 all the way through. But I didn't really get everything right the first time around. And so, yeah, and I purposely did it as a practice run. So I didn't even have it edit the entire Bible because I didn't want to, I needed to practice some first. So I practiced some on 1 John chapters 1 and 2. So when I get them done again, we can compare what I did before side by side with what I did now with what I'll say is proper, careful due diligence of research. So whereas what I did before was sort of a lot of like puzzle solving of like, well, this seems to be, it would only make sense if I put the word of here. So I'll put of the, that kind of a thing, right? And then I'll find out that, oh, maybe it was like an of him the, I'll see that kind of a thing. So those comparisons will be interesting. So this is, yeah, so when I opened this to edit it, I just saw this part of chapter 1. I was like, there's a lot of cool stuff here, maybe I'll edit this video shorter and I'll do sort of like a diary, and then I'll edit it all a little more streamlined to like show it evolving or something. Or maybe I won't edit it shorter. Have I been rambling on for like way too long for how small the topic is? Oh, um, yeah, Mr. Lizard, I'll get there with the research like when I get there and stuff. Because, and up each by. So, good. Oh, okay. So later on, he was saying when things were good. Pretty cool. Yeah, and that's got to be something that can be translated to water. So I figured that out puzzle-wise. But I'm not really doing this as a puzzle. You see, that's what I wanted to show for fun was before I start filling in more and more and more words, I wanted to like show how cool it is partially put together like this and to just share because I was excited. So now I'm going to go edit it. It's not going to be like this anymore. And I'll update you guys more next time I have a little update. So I'll try to learn how to make these like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something, you know. I don't really know how to do brevity. It's not my specialty. But I just wanted to get this down on the fly because, you know, I can be more concise when I prepare to be concise. But if you see this comment, I recommend you look up Genesis, Greek, kata, bibron. It's a useful tool. Okay, I'm trying to like copy and paste that, but I can't from here. So here. Yeah, and people recommended Blue Letter Bible to me, and I never used it. I'm kind of like an old fogey in that way. That like I'm very reluctant to move on to fancier tools, and it's sort of I get to know it in kind of an old school stupid way, I guess. And then once I sort of get to know it better, then when I check out another tool, I'm like, oh, this tool is better. So like, well, this is kind of interesting. I'll go ahead and um, yeah, I'll go ahead and screen share it so that people see what I'm jabbering about, because I'm going to jabber a little more before I close the live stream. Because I'm kind of just trying to talk to myself and organize my thoughts, but I'm going to go ahead and check out what Lizard's showing me. But that's the end of really my update on that. So I'm probably just going to sounding board my thoughts to myself some and then close the stream after we check this out. So it hooked me up at Genesis chapter 10 for whichever reason. I'm not sure exactly what I did that did that. But what sort of tool is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It doesn't tell me what lexicon it is. And that's the thing is I'm doing this for an end result product. So yeah, I think this would be more for someone's quick studying. So this is something cool that Lizard's sharing. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the side chat so that anyone who's watching this can check out this cool tool. I think it's a bit more for like personal study. It's really like quick and to the point and has the information there. And once you know how to read the information, then this is like really cool information. But at the same time, I mean, if I know what the lexicon is and I find out what it's sourcing, then I could use it as a source. So I have to dig into it a bit more because I can't rely on it for, you know, and without digging into it more. But yeah, I intend to whatever might be in some kind of question or whatever nuances I'm looking for, I intend to expand into more and more lexicons. So mostly what I need is um, just references to some good lexicons, and I have to find out how to learn what's a better lexicon or whatnot, you know. So but I'm not doing a translation. I'm doing a re-rendering, like a word for word re-rendering. So it'll be like an Englishified Greek. So very cool stuff. I'm excited about the project. There's the link in the side chat. No one's watching me anymore, which is totally fair enough. And yeah, now I have this to use for later. So everybody, Oh, you know what I should do? I keep forgetting to Patreon. And I'll just do the Patreon for the moment, but I also do throw out my PayPal in case people want to help me out. Right now, I'm taking a lot of days off that my job's offering to let me take days off if I want. And so there's my Patreon at Just Trust Messiah. And yeah, so I take a lot of days off so I can put hours into this project. I'm hoping to make this into like a very engaging, you could call it like a coffee table book, about the size of like a smaller softback cookbook with like the full color and nice pages. So there's a reference index for the words, as well as there's going to be the Bible, which will be a separate book, but they'll be companion books to each other. So it'll be the Greek, and then also this Englishified version of the Greek, which will be a one-to-one re-rendering rather than a translation. And then that will be, from there, I'll put it down into a translation that preserves a lot of like the etymological and idiomatic ways of speaking and stuff from the original Greek. So it'll be a tool to access the Greek, and you'll have that like translated into English, but you've got to take the idioms and stuff in context, because those are going to be like left as they were. Are you talking about the Old Testament, Mr. Lizard? Because my project is focused on the New Testament, and you might have come in a little bit after I said that, but I got the Septuagint in there because as long as I'm re-rendering the New Testament like that, I may as well also re-render the Septuagint. And that way I can see, I have the same resource for the Septuagint. But yeah, I'm not saying that the Septuagint Greek translation is necessarily going to be right in every spot or not. I'm not really trying to make a judgment on whether or not that translation was, held by God to a place of God-breathed scripture or not. But okay, so I'm going to take off now that I highlight, earlier on my other live stream, partway through the live stream. In fact, I'll just screen share it just for a moment now, just to put all the context in one video real quick. So let me see, application window. Do I have to like have it opened up like that for it to show up? Yep. So there it is. So here's the index. I had it organized in a way to sort out some information. In fact, it's still organized in that way. And but you see here, I've started charting, and I have my chart filled so far. This is every little form of all these words. But I have it filled down to about 610, because I have some at the top that I sort of did before that aren't really done right, that I just did starting at the beginning of the alphabet or of the Strong's numbers, So yeah, this chart is the companion to the other one. So for instance, this word OC, every single time I'm going to translate it as they may be too, because OC here is used more often, and it's they may be. And then when the letter form is just a little bit different, I better zoom in. I'm crazy here. You guys can't see that. When the letter form is a little bit different here, see how there's no dot on the I and then there is a dot on the I? Well, then in order to document that for the reader, this B is going to become a tiny little subscript B. So it's they may be and they may be B. but they may be too means it's actually spelled a bit differently or entirely differently, whatever the case. And that's OC. And then I have this other OC, which is used a little bit less, so they may be 2 and they may be 2B. And the 2B that I'll be made tiny as I'm putting it into the actual translation. And then, and there's more information here, but that's kind of the part that's special to this. So os is always going to be the word as, that kind of thing. Up, uppa, or uff. Those are all going to be beneath. This is pretty cool, right? You have dative case. I said earlier, genitive case is of something. Well, this is to something. So if you throw the ball to your son, like you're playing ball, that's a dative, right? And so they incorporate that into the word structure. So if you're doing something to y'all, right, here's a form of it. And a lot of these twos or B's, and in quite a number of cases, they're only in the Septuagint. And then in quite a number of cases, they're in both. But anyway, just a little more context on the project. And then when you're looking at the whole book, it would be a 2-page spread of, let me see, of this. And I can even do real quick view, page break preview. So this is the way they number the pages, but these would actually be pages 1 and 2, the way I would number them. But and the colors and things look a bit more of a mess because they're disorganized at the moment, but they go in a sequence. And that's just so that it's, if you know a certain word's blue and you get used to that, then it narrows it down and it just helps find things easier and makes it easier on the mind to not have everything look identical. So there's a lot of different things I can do to finally put it into the book in a most perfect format and not just as a raw table. But I'm not going to talk about every little detail at this moment, of course. So let me see. So this would be a 2-page spread. And let me see. Let's get the whole height in there. So you can see this one box here, and it's split in half there. So that's 2 pages. Hopefully you're kind of seeing what I'm jiving at. It's not the best view. Oh, I can make it a better view. Right? Page layout. There we go. Except they lay out the pages differently. I know they got the page. I can still look at it the same way. So that works. So check this out. Yeah, so this is like a 2-page spread right here. So that's a much better view of it. And like a full color book. And then, think about the Bible with its different sections of the different versions that are going to like bridge all the way to the Greek, right? Then it'll also have really good appearance where each one has its own appearance a bit and they all look good together. And so, yeah, I want to make this something that, we should enjoy our Bible studies and like, you could buy this set of books for the price of a video game, right? I'm looking at the price of this cookbook, considering printing costs, and that I'm basing my size and concept on this. And this is like a $25 book. It says here on the cover. So let's say $60 for the 2 books, right? That's what people pay for a video game, I guess. So there you go. So hopefully I had a good screen share going that whole time. I did. Okay. And then so that's what I wanted to share. Let me see. So everyone, just trust Messiah.